Okay, today I'm going to demonstrate how to put in a rebuild kit from Zama. We offer two kits, the gasket and diaphragm kit, which is just gaskets and diaphragms. The rebuild kit, which I'll be installing today, is gaskets, diaphragms, inlet needle, meter and lever, spring, Welch plug, strainer. Those are your basic items that come in a rebuild kit. These kits are available from any Zama distributor. It just depends on your carburetor model number, which is located near your fuel line connections normally, and it'll be printed in black ink. Once you know the model number, you can usually call one of our distributors and they can tell you what rebuild kit's in it, or you can contact us through email or phone, and we'll be happy to tell you what rebuild kit goes into your carburetor. Zama technical support is available Monday through Friday, so feel free to contact us anytime. I'm going to begin by removing the pump side of the carburetor. The pump cover is what I'm currently removing. You have the pump side and the metering side for those who's first time doing this. So you want to remove these two screws, loosen these. As you remove the pump cover, if you have a primer bulb on that side, or we call it a syringe, you want to just remove it all with one piece if you can and set it to the side. You then will have a gasket on top of the pump side and a pump diaphragm that's against the body of the carburetor. I'm going to set the old ones to the side. I'm going to flip the carburetor over and I'm going to remove the metering cover, which is on the metering side of the carburetor. The metering side in this particular case has two screws. The majority of metering covers will only have two screws. Remove these two, you'll use those again. I'll remove the metering cover, set it to the side. On the metering side, the gasket goes down first against the body of the carburetor, then the metering diaphragm. So I'm going to remove those two. Next, I will want to remove the metering lever, spring, inlet needle. And to do that, I'm going to loosen this metering screw here. So I'm going to put my finger on top of the metering lever and hold it down because it's spring loaded. As I loosen this screw, I'll just hold the metering lever down. Once I have the screw, I'll remove it. You will need to reuse that particular screw as it's not included in any of the rebuild kits. Once I have it removed, I've got my finger holding down the metering lever. As I release pressure, you'll see it pops up, and the spring, metering lever, and pin I'm going to set to the side like so. I'm going to remove the inlet needle, set it to the side. I'm going to flip it back over to the pump side. The first thing I'm going to do before installing the rebuild kit next is I'm going to remove this strainer here. And I usually do that with a scratch awl. And I'm just going to get it where it pops up like that. I'm just going to grab it and set it to the side. Now, I'm going to take a little carb cleaner. You do not want to spray directly in the holes. You want to spray at an angle, because spraying directly into the hose, it's possible to damage the check valve from the compressed air in the can. We just don't recommend it. We also don't recommend spraying compressed air to any of the holes on the carburetor and any parts of it. Do not insert anything into any of the holes, because spraying compressed air or inserting anything into any of the holes can damage the check valves. And once the check valves are damaged, there's really no other option but to replace the carburetor. So I'm going to spray carburetor cleaner at an angle. Spray a little in that hole, but at an angle so it's not directly hitting the check valve. I'm going to flip it over, do the same thing on this side. That way it'll remove any gum or built up residue, I then am going to shake it to air dry it just a little bit. I'm not going to spray any compressed air, as we just don't recommend that at all. You're taking a big chance by spraying compressed air into these carburetors. It can really do a lot of damage. Next, I'm going to insert the new strainer that I have for the carburetor that I got out of the rebuild kit. Now, you can put this in, you can press it in with your finger sometimes. You can use a drill blank, which we recommend, or the dull end of a drill bit. I'm going to use a 5mm Allen wrench. It happens to work on the carb stand, and it also is a perfect fit for this particular strainer. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to gently push it down till it's seated. I then go take my tweezers. I'm going to just mash the edges of the strainer to make sure they are flat against the carburetor wall, because you don't want any dirt or any debris to be able to bypass that strainer. Next, I'm going to put in the pump diaphragm and the pump gasket. So I'm going to line those up, and I'm going to line those up with the screw holes and put them back just the way I took them off. This is your new pump diaphragm first, and your new pump gasket you've removed from your new rebuild kit. Once I have those in place, I'm then going to reinstall the pump cover, and it may take a little finesse here to get that to fit down in there exactly. You want all the holes to line up. Then I'm going to screw these two down. And if your carburetor should be dirty before doing the rebuild kit, you can spray the outside off with carb cleaner to get it good and clean before beginning. This one just happened to not be dirty. I'm then going to flip it over, and I'm going to install the metering lever. I want to address one thing while I'm thinking about it. On this particular carburetor, you have a Welch plug right here. Some people need to remove that Welch plug, some people don't. As a rule of thumb, I don't remove the Welch plug unless the progression holes are stopped up. Right under here, you can look underneath the Welch plug into the venturi, and you'll see 2 to 3 drillings. Those drillings, if they look clear, I would not remove the Welch plug. In a later video, I will be going over how to remove a Welch plug, why to remove a Welch plug. We also will be introducing a new kit that includes a Welch plug remover and tools to install the Welch plug. And that will probably be coming out sometime in August. The kit will be available hopefully sometime in August, and I'll address that then. So in this situation, I'm not removing the Welch plug. So next, I will put the inlet needle, metering lever, pin, and spring in. The first thing I do is I take the metering lever, and let me grab it here, and I'm going to set it down where it's standing up. And as it's standing up, then I'm going to take the metering lever, slide the pin through. Oops. I'm going to take the pin. I'm going to slide it through the metering lever. I'm going to hold it with my forefinger and thumb. I'm then going to take the inlet needle, slide it on the forks to where I'm holding everything in one piece. I'm then going to insert the inlet needle into the hole. As I do that, I'm going to compress the metering spring as I push down, and I'm going to hold it. Now sometimes, in this situation, the pin here will not sit down into the groove, so you'll have to push it over to make it pop in. Once it's popped in and everything's flush, you want to take your screw that you removed earlier, and you want to put it back in the hole And by screwing this in, you'll want to screw it down tight. Next, you'll want to check, once it's all screwed in, you can see the metering lever's moving. It don't move very much. But the next crucial step is to check your metering lever height. And to do that, you need either a Zama gauge or any straight edge will do. I would recommend taking the Z gauge, running it over the edge of the carburetor. You want the edge, flat edge, to go directly over the rounded part of your metering lever. And you want to check to see how large the gap is between the metering lever and the straight edge. You want that gap to be very slight. I would recommend it almost touching but not touching. If it's set too high and touching the straight edge, it can cause gas to leak out of the carburetor when the engine's not running. And if it's set too low, you just won't get the performance out of the engine you should. So by looking at this, I'm going to hold it up to a light and I can see a large gap between my metering lever and my Z gauge. So I'm going to have to raise that metering lever a little bit. And to do that, I'm going to take a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to put it at the base of the metering lever at the forks. And I'm going to put some pressure on it just to hold it steady. And then with my thumbnail or my forefinger, fingernail, I'm going to raise that up. I'm going to pull up on that ever so slightly until I feel comfortable. Then I'm going to push it down a couple of times to make sure I got the play I need. Then I'm going to recheck that metering lever. And sometimes you'll have to hold it up to a light to see for sure. So after checking this one, I'm good. My metering lever height is good now. I'm going to now apply the metering gasket and metering diaphragm. So that on the metering side, the gasket goes down first. And then I'm going to put the metering diaphragm. I'm going to make sure my holes all line up, screw holes. And then next will be my metering cover. Once those are lined, I'm going to take my 2 screws. I'm going to screw those back in. And I'm going to tighten those up. Double check my pump side. And I'm good to go. That completes installing a rebuild kit. I hope that helps you. If you ever get stuck or have any questions, feel free to contact our technical support. Thank you.